It's time again for us to get out there, and this week we're heading to Fort Clatsop. The historic Lewis and Clark site tells a story of survival, and you can walk in the footsteps of history. John Goodwin has more.
All the details mattered. It was a life and death situation.
If history's ghosts won't tell it like it is, Tom Wilson will.
We like to think of it as a big, long, adventurous camping trip out west into the sunset.
For years, Tom was a park ranger at Fort Clatsop Lewis and Clark National Historical Park.
To not just survive, but to be part of this team and to realize that, quitting isn't an option. We quit, we die.
He may be retired, but the memories and lessons are not.
You're in leather clothes, you're in moccasins, stepping on cactus, stepping on rocks, on thorns, in the snow. This isn't fun. In the horizontal rain that we have here.
Even Clark himself wrote in his journal,
"This is the worst he'd ever experienced."
After a brutal journey, the group built Fort Clatsop in the bitter cold.
You could call this a replica, maybe even an exhibit is probably more of a correct term of the fort they built. But they built it in 2.5 weeks.
Undernourished and still hanging on to some dried fish from the Dalles, they were desperate for food.
In those days, the way you preserve food was by salt. Well, we're close to the ocean.
So Lewis and Clark sent 5 men to the beach, lugging 5 kettles and other supplies.
So wading in the ocean, carrying buckets of water to keep that boil going and evaporate the seawater to get enough salt.
In all, they made 28 gallons of salt to dry animal hides for clothing and to preserve their fish and elk. Sorry, guys. Today, the replica salt works can be found in Seaside.
Now, when you go to the site, the ocean is quite a bit farther out. Our jetties have dispersed sand and built up our beach, so the ocean is quite a bit farther out now.
Visitors can retrace some of those steps on the Fort to Sea Trail. This 6-mile hike won't get you to the salt works, but it stretches from Fort Clatsop to the Sunset Beach trailhead.
But this one shows the visitor center here, the Fort to Sea Trail, and then a lot of the other little loop trails that you can take. So down this path, it leads to the Lewis and Clark River, what was referred to as Natal by the Clatsop people.
Tom stresses any Lewis and Clark account should come with a remembrance of the indigenous story too.
This is probably where they pulled in their dugout canoes. They pulled in this little slough, and to just experience the luxury of what we have now with the hardships of what was put in to get it to this point and what we still need to do. We still need to protect it.
In Warrenton, I'm John Goodwin. Let's get out there.
And remember, we always want to know your favorite outdoor spots and see your pictures as well. So share them with us by texting 503-226-5088.